Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you the final episode of What If Naruto Became the God of Wind. Yes guys, the final episode. I thank you all for following me in this journey, all of the supports, all of the likes, all of the comments. Thank you all for everything that you have done with me and following me on this journey, and I do hope that you guys enjoy every single one of them. And let's finish this up with the final episode, which I do hope that you guys enjoy. And don't be sad because you already know that new what ifs are coming up soon for you guys to enjoy, guys. So just stay tuned and they'll be coming up soon enough. And also, go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Unlock a Strange Power over on Anime King 2 that I just posted, and enjoy that, guys. And stay tuned for the rest of the what ifs if you're new and enjoy each and every one of them. And thank you all again, and without further ado, what is we begin this final episode? Begin the intro. So the last time we left off, Naruto was called back Konan, as he understood why, as the village was surrounded, as all the ninjas were coming back. So with that they left, with the unconscious Yukimaru, as he had to bring the boy to Snadi to get information, while they were discussing the meeting in the count's room, as they told everyone about Natsuki. Yujito's ceiling went different, unsealing, as she was able to switch personas with the Nibi. It was like a different person, but they were sharing one body. When the both of them sensed something, it was Zetsu, as they were being watched. But they didn't have time to dwell on that for too long. They have to begin preparations very soon, as the war is about to start. While Naruto was at the village, just a couple of days passed. Karin was being punished for her stupidity, leading an army into a battle that she completely lost. So Kabuto was using her to send her to the Hinali village. They had something that they thought they could stop Naruto, while Kabuto lied. The thing that he wanted to test was the ear, conductors on their face, so Naruto couldn't pump his wind chakra inside of them and explode them from within. As Naruto captured Karin, he spent the entire week talking to her, finding out that she's at Uzumaki. Things changed. She realized that Sasuke didn't really care for her, as he was just gonna send her here to die on a suicide mission, and it turned her, well, angry. And Naruto adopted her into his clan after a long week of talking, as she wasn't a bad person, she was just on the wrong side, and he needed to change that. So, some time passed as a real war began. Sasuke brought back all of his troops towards Aiden Rain, thinking that ninjas would just come straight there, but he was wrong, because they went straight towards other villages, as he quickly overrun all of them, as they extracted the control that Sasuke had on their mind. Sasuke was furious as all the villages he controlled had been taken back, but he was still at the Hidden Rain with all of his synthetic warriors and all of his Zetsu there. As Naruto and the group was coming in a mass attack heading straight towards them to crush them, but Sasuke was ready. Yes, he'll be ready. Sakura was also captured, as Nade was hoping that she was being controlled as well, but she wasn't. As Naruto had to make a tough decision for her, that Sasuke was supposed to be executed after all of this was over. As Nade didn't say anything, as she couldn't go against that. Sakura had defied the village and the other nations by working for Sasuke. A week passed as Sasuke wondered what the hell they were up to. He was on edge. The nations hadn't moved, they hadn't done anything. That was when chaos started to spread through his village as they started to get attacked. Dragons started raining down inside the village. Sasuke cursed they were attacking from above. So yeah guys, so basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Leading the assault from the sky was Mei, Kurosaki and Gaara. They had 10,000 men with them. They were all riding summoning creatures that could fly. Naruto provided most of them by having The Dragon King himself reverse summoned all of his dragon to the human world. Gar was there as well, providing them with countermeasures against the weapons with his shield, his sand shield, as he floated above the weapons where the enemies could not reach him. As Mei and Kurasuke started to bombard the city from above, using their U-turn attacks. The man and woman with them started firing explosive attacks as well, as many of Sasuke's strategic defense started to get hit. With Naruto A and B, Phase 1 is complete. I repeat, Phase 1 is complete. Could be heard on a private channel. That is Gaara's signal. The enemy is currently drawn to their walls. That is our chance to strike them in the back, said Naruto, as he got a nod from the Raikage and his brother. They were currently in the same sewer system that allowed Konan, Kurenai, and Naruto to infiltrate the village not too long ago. As expected, that passageway was sealed off from last in the attack, but new tunnels had been dug, and explosive tags were everywhere, just ready to get set off. Right under the surface of the hidden rain down center, Naruto A and B were the heavy hitters of the alliance as they were chosen to lead this assault. They too had 10,000 men with them, ready to burst out of the underground hole after detonating the explosives. With a single hand sign, everything went off. A massive explosion tore through the entire sewer system. A massive gaping hole was blasted open. It didn't take long as the ninjas started piling inside, including A and B as well, as Naruto dashed out as well. As a chakra cloak came around B as he thrust forward straight into the enemy forces. Naruto wastes no time and activates his ultimate wind form, strike them while they're distracted. Meanwhile, Tsunade, Yujito, and Natsuki. A red flash went off as they saw it. That was their sign. Yujito, Natsuki, you take the lead and I will organize our forces and see to the injured ones behind. Tsunade said to the two Kunoichis, yes, Hokage Dano, you heard her. As soon as the gate fall, we would charge right through them, said Yujito. To the 20,000 men behind her, another explosion went off. They have fallen, let's go, said Natsuki, as the group made their way through the main gates that were completely destroyed now. Meanwhile, on top of the Kage's tower, as Sasuke and his main staff was there, many explosions raining all around them. As they looked up at the Mizukage and Teshikage, they were the one that attacked the main gate, destroying it. His troop just started to fight back against the enemies when a massive hole opened up in the center of the village, and ninjas started to pour in. Naruto, the Hatsubi, Jinchuriki, and the Raikage were leading that assault. Those three were army killers on their own, not to mention they have at least 10,000 men with them. True to his reputation, the lightning shadow was already decimating the sound forces as he got out of the hole. None of them could stand up to him. The man was bulldozing right through them. Next to him was B. B was rushing through the village in his Biju form, moving, just crushing everything under his weight. Massive jutsus and everything was hurled at him, but they had no effect as he just knocked them away. He was just moving slower than everyone else, but he was still crushing mighty forces underneath one swing of his tails. And not to mention Naruto with his godly mastery over the wind element already activated his ultimate bloodline. It was a fortunate thing for the hidden sound that Kabuto created, something that to bypass Naruto's external wind attack that could go directly into your lungs, as he could literally make you explode from far away. With the mask that Soul Ninjas were wearing, they wouldn't be able to inhale Naruto wind for him to kill them that easy. But still, Naruto wind blade extended and was slicing through ninjas after ninjas. None of them could stop him. None of them could even slow him down. They were being slaughtered like flies. It was the last straw as Sasuke saw the rest of the alliance approaching his city after they came through the broken gates. He couldn't afford for them to come inside his capital. If they did, everything would just go to hell. He had to make his move right now, or it will be too late. Kabuto, you're in charge of the protection of the walls and the space where the gate used to be. You have more than enough troops there to fight them back. Make use of the artillery that we hid in anticipation for this battle. As you command, what about you though? What will you be doing in the meantime? I'm going to take charge of our forces in the center of the city. Suigetsu, Kimemaru, Jugo, you three are with me. Kabuto, I want you to win me some time so I can prepare my counter. Yes, my lord, said Kabuto, as he moved off to do what his master told him to do. And Sasuke and the others left off the top of the tower. Meanwhile, Kurasuke and Mei was melting everything below them. Neither of them was holding back their jutsu, did not take prisoners after all, melting anything that came near. And every kunais or projectiles that came near them was blocked by Gaara's hand. But still, there was a lot of men in the city. For every man that they took down, 2 more came. It started showing the battlefield as more and more soldiers from Gaara's group started to get shot down from the sky. The top of a tall building suddenly collapsed, but that was not their doing as they looked towards it. As the dust was blown away, it showed Kabuto with a few of his men. But it was the strange machines that were on top of the tower. Gaara's eyes wide as he understood their purpose. Those were automatic kunai launchers, already loaded. Kabuto man started to release them towards me and Kurosaki. Gaara's hand sprang into action immediately as he blocked the first wave, but they were incredibly faster and stronger, and they detonated on impact. He had to pump more chakra to withstand those attacks. Meanwhile, Kabuto jumped towards two other towers right under the nose of Gaara and his group. Two more automatic kunai launchers came out. Fall back, we need to temporarily distance ourselves from those. I won't be able to hold them back forever, said Gaara, as he got nods from both me and Kurosaki. Kabuto smirked, seeing that as the first step of his plan worked. It was a good thing this device has been kept hidden till the last moment, otherwise they would have been destroyed. As Kabuto turned to see the main force on the ground approaching them, he jumped down as he landed on a smaller tower as he activated another mechanism that blew away the roof. As a long-range rock launcher, one of the ones that Gaara destroyed the first minutes of the battle appeared. Gaara cursed as they got them to back off, as he saw Yujito and her 20,000 men coming into the center of the city, and they weren't able to block because they couldn't go near the kunai launchers. Gaara was snapped out of his thoughts as the first massive rock was launched towards the ground troops. The thing then detonated in mid-air, sending high-speed projectiles smashing into the Alliance shinobi forces, slaughtering many of them. Meanwhile, I have an idea, but can I speak with Tobi? Asked Natsuki, as they were up against serious firepower. But Natsuki, she had a plan. Yujito closed her eyes, as she then opened them back. What's up, Natsuki-chan? And what do you need from me? Asked Denibe, as she took control of Yujito's body as she looked around. We need a way into the city, and those damn sound shinobis are cutting us off. I know the exact attack that will be powerful enough, but technically I can't do it myself since I'm not a Bijo anymore. You want me to fire Imari against those fools? You know that the friendly, firing collateral could be damaging. Do you think this through? Asked Nibi. What choice do we have? We're vulnerable right now against their weapons if we stand here. Furthermore, Naruto-kun and his allies are in danger as well. If we don't go to back them up, they will be surrounded in the center of the village. Your host too, she has her special people inside that damn city. Precious people, huh? You changed, Natsuki. The old you would have never concerned yourself with those humans, who you now call precious. However, since a partial unsealing, I too have new perspective in this world. So, I shall assist you with this. Monotobi didn't start to gather yokai around her body. Everyone, make way now, Natsuki screamed. She's going to unleash the powers of the Nibi. So, move away. The Alliance shinobi forces started to jump back as Yujito's body started to transform. As the Nibi started gathering the power in her mouth, as she went full Bijo mode before launching it, as everything went blank. Meanwhile, in the center of the city, absolute chaos. That was all that could describe what was going on. Naruto just killed another platoon of ninjas who tried to come into their ranks. Those men never even knew what hit them, as Naruto used his special genjutsu. There is no end to them. What the hell is going on with their aerial and ground assault? Naruto said loud enough for A and B to hear him. No idea, but I can't do this for all day, said A. B, what do you see up there? Those fools just brought out some mid and long range weapons from nowhere, bro. Our mans are being shot down like flies, and the external force are under heavy bombardment. No wonder we've been waiting for all this time for them to link up without them showing up. This sound must have hidden some of their utility weapons before the battle started. B, go ahead and destroy those things before they destroy all of our allies. Got it, bro, I'm on my way there, said B. Before anyone else could say anything, a bright light illuminated the area. As Naruto and B eyes widened, this was a Bijo bomb. As the explosion ringed through the city, as they knew that Gaara couldn't transform anymore. Seeing that, Naruto tightened his seal, so it had to be Yujito. Things must be getting really tough over there. Suddenly, B started to flash around as something was burning him, as one of his tentacles were enveloped in black flames. The Amaterasu. B was yelling in pain as he tried to put the flames out, but he couldn't do anything against them. Naruto revealed himself from genjutsu as he dashed forward. Slice. B winks in pain. God damn it, that hurt like hell, he said, as Naruto sliced off the tentacle that was burning. But thanks. Where's the little shit that did this to me? B roared as his burned body quickly healed with the help of his massive reserves. Your enemy is me, Jinchuriki of the Hatsumi. My sword will deal with your demonic powers, Suigetsu announced, as he appeared on top of a tower with Samihata in his hand. The Raikage was about to move forward when he suddenly had to jump back, avoid a volley of projectiles, as he saw they were all made of bone, small bones. as A turned his head as Kimaru was standing there. But A had to jump out of his jugo as Pierre, trying to punch him from the side. The Raikage quickly activated his lightning cloak around him. As Naruto was in his genjutsu, ready to slice on some other enemies until the entire place became enveloped, as he had to flash away from the black flames. "So, you finally came out to play with us," Sasuke said Naruto, as he looked towards the top tower to see Sasuke looking down at him, with his eternal monkey Sharingan activated. As the people saw their leader arrive, the Sound Ninjas started to get boosts. As they felt a boost seeing that their leader has joined the battlefield, they felt confident enough to win this now. Well, at least they will try. As Naruto noticed that Sasuke was not wearing the mask, that was either that he found a way to counter his jutsu, or he was too arrogant enough to not wear it. Either way, Naruto's strike first sees speed through hand signs. Wind style Hakaday his head as he released a burst of wind towards his opponent. Sasuke didn't move, he just smirked smugly at Naruto. The wind wave washed over Sasuke, but it was ignited, revealing some sort of fire shield, nullifying Naruto wind jutsu. What's the matter? Your puny jutsu failed to reach me, dope. Your offensive power are nothing compared to my Susanoo, my ultimate defense. Susanoo can also be used for offensive as well. As the ribcage came out, with two arms as his form a skeleton feature, with a bow and arrow. Naruto flashed towards his marker as a second arrow flied towards him. Naruto flew up in the air as his dragon wings activated came out of his back. He knew where to shoot his second arrow by tracking my Harashina thought. He had to flew off again to dodge another arrow. As Naruto bring out another Harashin kunai as he throw it, the kunai multiply as they all stab down into the ground. As Naruto's eyes change as he activated his Sage Dragon Eyes, allowing him to see and process things way faster as he flashed in front of Sasuke. Let's see how absolute your defense is, shall we? As Naruto sent Chakra to his dragon wings, as he reappeared a few meters behind Sasuke, a loud cracking sound was heard as Sasuke Susanoo exploded from Naruto attacking it. So much for invincible armor, Son Kage said Naruto with a smirk. As Sasuke cursed, he saw his ultimate defense reforming at the cost of some extra chakra. But Naruto did not let him rest as he knocked Sasuke, moving towards the battlefield with a tremendous speed. Sasuke couldn't even keep up as Naruto was flashing all around. Sasuke stood in the center of all of this as his armor was being ripped apart by all angles. Once Naruto stopped, the Susanoo was almost completely destroyed. The only safe part left was the head, as Sasuke was seething in anger, pouring out his chakra to keep it up. "What are you waiting for, you idiots? Remove his damn kunai from the field," Sasuke yelled, as his man had been staying at a safe distance away from the fight up until now. The Zetsu clones and his drones moved forward. Naruto saw that coming as he launched a counterattack. "You really felt like a coward, Sasuke," said Naruto, as he channeled a large quantity of his chakra to his wings. He then disappeared in a white flash, as the dragon hybrid sage tore through everything in his path. This was an upgrade version of the Harashin that allows him to jump from every kunai. He could take 100 jumps without taking a break. So they stood no chance as Naruto flashed through them. It seems like it was just only for a minute, as he was moving incredibly fast. As Naruto appeared right back in the center and smashed his foot right into Sasuke's defense, shattering it. Everyone was surprised as they turned, as Naruto leaped forward to end Sasuke's life once and for all. But Naruto had to flash away as the explosion went off right where he was. When the dust cleared out, Tobi was there, as he was now holding up a barely standing Sasuke. "Akatsuki," said Naruto. Tobi said nothing as he allowed Sasuke to stand back up on his own. Sasuke felt something coursing through his eyes. As he felt pain, he had to shut them. As he didn't open them, he then saw some of the ninjas looking at him strangely, before he dropped to his knees. There was a puddle right in front of him. "What the hell?" said Sasuke. His eyes were different. They had rubber pattern in them and they were purple. A smirk came on Sasuke's face, as he was astonished. He then turned his back to Tobi and looked at the still stunned Naruto. "What took you so long, Tobi?" "I don't know how, but I got this new power." As Sasuke clenched his fists, "I am low on chakra, so I order you to." Suddenly a hand shoved right through Sasuke's back, piercing his chest. "I take orders from no one, not even you, my other self." As Tobi ripped his hand from Sasuke, Sasuke dropped to his knees. Tobi then reached up as he grabbed his mask, pulling it off, showing his face of an older looking Sasuke, with the eternal monkey Sharingan in one eye, and the Rinnegan in the other. "What? Who?" Sasuke was confused as he was bleeding out. I am you, but not from this time though. From an alternate future reality, he said. In my own original space-time, I was about to lose to him yet again. I don't know how, but my Rinnegan and my eternal Mangekyo Sharingan merge, somehow giving me an ultimate jutsu that allowed me to travel here, back when he was younger, before he was even born, so I could erase his existence before he could get powerful once again. As he looked over at Naruto, who was also shocked. After using that jutsu to go back before he was born, a cause happened. I lost my Rinnegan in the process. The only thing I prevent was from his parents for sealing a part of their chakra in his body. I thought this would have been enough to hold back his growth as a ninja, since in my universe, even with his parents sealing him, almost the end of the war, he was still that orange, idiotic, weary ninja who shouted that he wanted to become Hokage. But I thought without them to protect him against a beast that was sealed inside of him, he wouldn't become stronger. But still, as the older Sasuke hand started to glow green before he reached over. As he went towards Sasuke's eye, the recoil from my damn jutsu and fighting his parents took a lot out of me, and it took me a long time to recover. I never thought that this would make him meet and bond with the beast inside of him to such an extent that he would become so much more stronger and a greater threat than he was in my universe. To this day, I still don't know how the Sharingan naturally evolved into the Rinnegan. However, I tried to use the one I stole from Nagato, his cousin. But this one, he said, pointing at his own eye, isn't the same. And I just can't use the full powers that they possess. So I waited and waited for you to become stronger. You, or me after all, for you to finally activate those eyes. And now that you have, it's time I stop playing this foolish facade. As he ripped out Sasuke's eyes, Sasuke could only collapse down. As he sealed one in a scroll, as he implanted the other one in his own body. As he then threw away his younger self corpse, Sasuke dropped like a fly, already bleeding out and died. The effect of the genjutsu wore off of everyone that was being controlled as he looked around, wondering what the hell was going on. Suigetsu, Jugo, Kabuto and the others were also confused as hell. What was going on? Finally, after all these years, we will battle once again, both of us at the peak of our powers. I seen you fight my younger self and I knew that you weren't using your full powers. I originally planned to kill you before you can become a threat to me once again, but fate has changed that. And we're still going to face each other in this lifetime once again. Granted, you weren't this powerful nor did you use all those wind-based moves in my reality, but it didn't matter, because now, today, I will finally get to kill you. You're the vein of my very existence, Naruto Uzumaki said. But first, time to get rid of the unwanted crowd as he raised up in the sky. As he moved towards the center of the tower. From the outer battlefield where she was, Konan's eyes widened as she signaled to everyone what was going to happen. All of you need to move now. He's going to use the attack to vaporize the entire portion of the city. Fall back immediately, you won't survive the blast. Retreat now. She yelled over the radio emitter that she had. As everyone heard her broadcast, as Gaara and his group started to evacuate the people, as Natsuki and Yujito started to evacuate everyone, telling them to fall back. The true problem for the ones who came in the city using the underground path. They were now trapped inside with no way out and no way to reach walls. Sasuke smirked. Too late. Almighty. Push! As everything went white. Everything went to hell. Every single thing. Those who retreated to the village watched as everything was blown to smithereens inside. All they could see was dust and smoke. Kabuto and the others had no choice. As all of them were trying to flee, the ninjas for the alliance was still ready. The moment they reached outside, they were captured and placed under chakra restrictions, so they couldn't do anything, while the others just watched the chaos happen. But they didn't really care about this new Sasuke because he just tried to blow all of them smithereens. The Zetsu clones were also blown, and the ones that were being controlled by Sasuke, the ones that remained, had no idea what was going on because the illusion just broke and they found themselves in God nowhere, and then they were blasted. Tsunade quickly summoned Katsuya and made her split. As the medics were overwhelmed, there was a lot of chaos. Gaara made his way over the city, floating. Nothing was left of the hidden rain, only ruins and rubble left. As Gaara saw Naruto, He was unharmed, still looking at this new Sasuke. He looked forward towards where the others were. He saw a badly burned Killer Bee, still in his Steel Beast mode, covering the hole, as B took all the full blunt of the almighty push to save the others. Countless dead bodies were washed away by the others, mostly the Sound Force, as Gaara retreated back to inform the Alliance about the precious ones and their loved ones, as Kumo was happy to hear that A and B was still alive, along with the majority of the Kumo force that went with them, and Naruto was alive as well. As he looked over at Naruto, he already beat him one in the past after what he said. He hoped that Naruto can do it again. Meanwhile, at Ground Zero with Naruto and Sasuke, everything around them had been pushed away for a mile. As Sasuke did it on purpose so Naruto wouldn't get affected, so the both of them can finally have the battle. For him to finally kill Naruto did something that he was unable to do in the past. Finally, he would kill him. The results of the elemental nations would be sealed by this battle. Whether good or bad, it was close now. The end of this final battle. As Naruto looked over if what this Sasuke said was true, he should have met with his parents when he tampered with his Shiki Fusion, but it was because of him. That never happened, and he was sad to learn that he never got a chance to meet Minato and Kushina. He would never get to meet them in his lifetime. But something else came to him, as he realized if that man hadn't done what he did, then he would have never met Natsuki. He would have never bonded with her. Nothing like that would have happened. What would have happened if this man hadn't done that? How would his life would have turned out? He shook that off. His life was wonderful right now. Despite not getting to see his parents, Natsuki was a great treasure in his life. As Naruto covered the markers across the battlefield once again, as Naruto took off towards Sasuke, but Sasuke disappeared in a swirling vortex and appeared right in front of Naruto. As he clashed with Naruto one devastating kick, Naruto blocked it but he was pushed back. Naruto was surprised. Sasuke had moved so fast. Do you really think that it would be that easy? Like what you did against my younger counterpart? Let me remind you, you aren't the first one to use a Harashin against me in a fight. I've studied that jutsu and came up with something similar to it. You won't be able to reach me with such pathetic attempts. As he channeled chakra to his body and summoned his own Susanoo. In addition to the small crossbow, it also had a sword in his hand, and blazing black flames were covering his body. As Sasuke immediately started to fire off arrows coated with those black flames straight towards Naruto, as Naruto avoided the first arrow thanks to several Harashin marks around the battlefield. However, it just kept on firing after and after and after again, forcing Naruto to flash away every single time. Damn it, his attacks are much faster than the previous ones in Naruto. If only I could use my genjutsu against him, Naruto said, but this damn Naruto didn't stop as he came up with a plan. What's the matter, dope? Is run away all you can do? Sasuke taunted as he saw Naruto evade another arrow. With the alliance leaders, when Gaara reported the situation that was going on, the others decided to move in closer, so if Naruto might need any help. They also sent help to the underground tunnels, led by Konan and Yujito, to help whoever was trapped down there. Tsunade, Mei, Kurosaki, Gaara, and Natsuki were the only alliance warriors alone on the scene. Some higher ranked shinobis were left in charge of cleaning up, as Kakashi and Sabusa. As they reached the city walls, they were greeted with Sasuke Giant Susanoo, firing arrows at the flashing away Naruto. This was a battle beyond any of them right here, and they knew they didn't have what it takes to get in there. But they could see that Naruto was under pressure at the moment. Natsuki wanted to go help, but she was prevented from doing that by Tsunade. It would just distract Naruto, and if this Sasuke knew about her, he would just use her as a way to distract Naruto and hurt him even more. So she must not go anywhere near the battle. Back with Naruto, Naruto speed through handstand before slamming his right hand on the ground, as the Dragon King appeared. What have you called me for, Naruto? Most of my subjects already come back home and told me that you and your alliance forces were about to win this war. The Dragon leader didn't turn as he saw the destruction that happened. That's partly true, said Naruto. The only one left to beat is that guy. But he used some nasty flames attack with the black flames of the Amaterasu. You're the only one that can withstand those. That is the reason I summoned you, said Naruto. As Naruto speed through handstand and called another jutsu, as he disappeared from Sasuke's sight. As Sasuke could still see the layout of Naruto's body, due to the rain pouring all around. But still, he couldn't read Naruto's lips, as Naruto was speaking to the dragon. The black dragon then took off, creating a massive gust that clothed the entire place. Sasuke lost sight of Naruto, as the dragon started to flap and fire off black flames straight down towards Sasuke. Sasuke scanned his surroundings with no success, and the black flames didn't affect the dragon. The dragon then flew high up as he started to bombard the place with fireballs all around. As Sasuke had to jump away temporarily, shutting off his ultimate defensive jutsu. Sasuke then felt a wing output, got strong all around him as he twisted his body. As he felt something rip right through his shoulder. As he turned his head backward, Sasuke tracked a small shadow, as it was located right beside the destruction of the Kage's tower. This was a perfect place that Naruto could hide, where he couldn't track him because there was no rain falling on that spot. As Naruto revealed himself holding his kunai, and the wind blade was extended, piercing Sasuke's shoulder. As Naruto flashed away right on top of the Dragon King, as the both of them launched a jutsu, a massive black dragon, created from Ryua, black flames, and Naruto wind to fuel it to make it even more deadly. The thing tore through the sky as the black winged dragon fly down on the unmoving Sasuke. Sasuke cursed as Naruto wind blades had stabbed into his shoulder and they were affecting his body. As Sasuke looked up, boom! Naruto attacked incinerated the ground as the black flames started to eat and burn the winds, making them more deadly and ferocious. The Dragon King black flames were different. They didn't burn for several days as they started to die out. As Naruto cursed when he saw the body of Manda, the only snake that Uncle refused to or couldn't summon. How dare you use me like this, Uchiha? You will pay for this. But the Snake Lord had no chance of surviving that attack as he died. Once Manda had died, the real Sasuke stepped out as Manda's body poofed back to the summoning world, with 6 shadows behind him. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw the rain gun in their eyes, but what he saw pissed him off to no end. The identity of 2 of them. As he saw Jiraiya, Itachi, Danzo, Orochimaru, Kisame, and Nagato. As Naruto knew that he had the bodies of Itachi and Danzo, Orochimaru and Kisame, but his cousin. He never knew that the man would use his body for that, as he had remembered Konan said that Nagato's body has been taken, but his master Jiraiya. Naruto closed his eyes. They're already dead. There's no need to hold back on any of them, Naruto said, as he snapped his eyes back open, glaring down at Sasuke. Meanwhile, tears were in Tsunade's eyes. She knew about the paths, but for Jiraiya to be used like this. Let me go, you cowards! He needs our help, Natsuki yelled, as she was restrained by Gaara-san. The sight of all those extra shinobis teamed up against Naruto was more than she could handle. No matter how strong he is, it wasn't fair for him to fight them on his own when there was 4 other Kages watching his battle. The Kages were all ashamed that the best they could do right now was not interfere in Naruto's fight. With Natsuki or them on the field, Naruto wouldn't be able to unleash his most destructive jutsus. You'd have to hold back with Naruto. The dragon had to fly up as Orochimaru tried to stab it with the Kusanagi blade. As Itachi and Danzo fired off a massive wind attack with Itachi enhanced with his wind, making the thing a hellstorm of flames. Naruto jumped off the Dragon King. It smashed right into him, but it didn't really concern him because he was immune to fire. Naruto was pulled down to the ground violently by Nagato Universal Pull as Naruto flashed away towards the closest Harajuku marker he had on the ground. Unfortunately for him, as soon as he appeared, the ground below him started to sink. Jiraiya, chopping jutsu. Kisame then appeared out of nowhere with Samehata as he drove it down towards Naruto's skull. The Dragon King flapped his wing, blowing Kisame with a terrible force as he pulled Naruto out of the swamp. Are you alright, Naruto? This is your former sensei. Would you be able to fight against him and give it your all? Don't worry, I'm not scared to face him right now. Quite the opposite, in fact. It's my duty as his student to not let the Uchiha use him that way, said Naruto. I'm not even sure that his soul is in there. The last time I faced 6 paths, they were like soulless drones, Naruto said. Very well, how do you want to do this? It will be difficult to fight them all on your own. We need a solid plan to do this. I have a jutsu I can use against them that will ensure a solid victory. But this jutsu is very taxing on my chakra reserves. What can I do to help you? I need to stand still while I channel my chakra for that jutsu. I need to stay concealed in my genjutsu for that. But to the rain, it's easy for them to trap me. We need to find a way to stop the rain. I don't suppose that you can do something like this, Naruto asked. I can't. Water is not my field of expertise, but I know the one for this. As the Dragon King reverse summoned another familiar dragon, the Ice Dragon, he was brief on what to do as he flew straight up in the sky. Doing all of this, Sasuke had got back up fully. The 6th path, all of them were looking up, scanning the sky. But then suddenly, the air felt cold and the rain stopped instantly. Snow started to fall, but it didn't fall inside the city, only around it as Sasuke's eyes widened. It could only be Naruto work, meaning that he was somewhere around them already, hidden in his genjutsu field. A large fireball launched by the King Dragon forced Sasuke and his path to move nearer inside the city. This is the end, Sasuke, suddenly said by Naruto, as they appear right in the middle of where Sasuke and his path had jumped off to after avoiding the fireball. A large seal narrate started to spread out all around them. Uzumaki, Zenjutsu, Ukifusion no Jutsu, said Naruto, as time stopped inside the field that he just created, as Naruto's body became one with the wind once again. Everything became quiet. No explosions, nothing. All of the noise just suddenly disappeared. The Kages were surprised at that, as they read the report from Naruto's battle with Nagato. They heard he had the ultimate technique that even transcended the Higher but seeing it with their own eyes was really something else. Tsunade is at the Hifusion as B, and A made it back, as B was back in his human form, pretty worn out. I don't really know, I've only heard vague explanation of that technique from him. This is my first time seeing it. Meanwhile, with Naruto, as soon as the 4 jutsu markings spread out, Naruto vanished, turned into a gust of wind. The 6 paths move away, but everything had went quiet. Even when they landed, nothing could be heard. They were trying to use their eyes to locate the blonde, but they couldn't. Sasuke did not understand, as their 5 senses seemed to be failing them, all of them. At the exact same time, the bodies of 6 paths were attacked by an unknown force. This could only mean that it was still Naruto still using his genjutsu tricks. But what was so different about this one? As they could feel nothing at all, smell nothing, they could hear nothing. They couldn't even see nothing, as they couldn't know what was attacking them. It was like time itself had stopped within the field. The only indication of what was going on was the 6 bodies as they were being threaded by wind. As Sasuke felt that, he quickly used his own space-time ninjutsu and moved out of there. But as he tried to reach the edge of the field, he just couldn't, because Naruto appeared in front of him and knocked him back straight into the center, as he couldn't reach it fast enough before his face jutsu stopped. As Naruto remembered a conversation he had with Konan about Madara facing abilities, or now as we know it, the older Sasuke, and how she was planning to fight against the man. Flashback 1 week after the spine mission in the rain. So Konan, what can you tell me about this Tobi or Madara guys in Naruto? Not much, I'm afraid. He mostly talked with Nagato and I've never even seen his face, but he called himself Uchiha Madara, one of the founding members of Konoha. Do you know about his abilities? I'm most interested in that space-time ninjutsu of his. It seems more versatile than the one my father created, even though it's quite slower. I will need to find a way around it if we're to one day face each other in battlefield, Naruto explained. Before you came to save me, I originally planned to defeat him by using what I've learned so far about his phase in jutsu. Once he launches his move, he cannot be harmed for as long as he keeps his jutsu active. However, for him to harm you, he needs to phase back into our plane of existence. That's the moment where he's vulnerable. From what Nagato and I were able to assess, he can keep the jutsu up for 5 minutes at best. My first plan was to trap him in a containment field with enough explosives that will last a full 5 minutes. 5 minutes, huh? Naruto thought. End of flashback. When Naruto uses attack against Nagato for the first time, everything happened so fast because he originally already defeated all 6 paths, and Tendo was the only one left. The jutsu wasn't made to activate for so long. However, at the time he was still in the process of taking control of his full, gigantic yokai reserves after releasing Natsuki from Seal. It took him some time and some effort, but he managed to extend the time for how long he can keep the jutsu up. Sasuke made an attempt of 3 times to leave the field, but each time he collided with the invisible barrier that Naruto set up. Each failed attempt allowed Naruto to deliver severe injuries to his opponent. As it has been 5 minutes now since Naruto kept his field active. This was the best he had went on in his training, but he knew he couldn't stop. Now he had to keep it up, as he kept on pumping more and more power. Sasuke and his part has already got several critical hits all over his body. It was now a race against time. If Naruto broke his field right now, if he didn't have the amount of power, Sasuke would simply escape. Or he would simply kill Naruto, because after this, Naruto's body would be exhausted. He'd be tired to fight back, he couldn't do anything. Or if he escaped, he could live to fight another day. But Sasuke's jutsu was coming to an end, and if he was to phase back in now, Naruto would kill him. Sasuke could not get to the barrier of the flowing jutsu seal on the ground, and he has been keeping his body intangible. But his 5 minutes are coming to an end. With the other Kages, they could not understand because the field looked empty. The only exception was when Sasuke tried to escape. Out from that, the place looked empty and absolute silence. Tsunade had been sad in relief at the same time to see that Jiraiya's body had stopped moving after those 6 paths had been destroyed. Everything just went quiet and silent. Noshi and Natsuki was praying for Naruto's safe return amongst them. Kakashi, Guy, Kurenai, and Karin, all of them were there. All of them hoping that Naruto would get through this. The snow stopped falling as rain started to pour all over the hidden rain once again. Back in the center, it was time to finally end this. As Sasuke dashed forward, Naruto moving forward as well. Even though his body was exhausted and almost out of chakra, a final attack would do it. A bright flash of light. Sound could be heard inside. Natsuki. Forgot slipping his hold for 1 second after seeing the bright flash. She rushed forward. She saw Naruto's body lying there along with Sasuke. She quickly rushed towards him. Tears welled up in her eyes as she released a sigh of relief when she realized he was only unconscious, as he had a massive wound right over his heart. Tsunade rushed over after Natsuki called out for her, as she quickly started tending Naruto's wounds. They looked over at Sasuke, who had severe wounds all over his body. Bad wounds. A gaping hole in his chest cavity right where his heart was supposed to be, and his eye as well was sliced out. It seems like Naruto had made sure to extract what made Sasuke a threat to everyone, his Rinnegan and his Sharingan. As no one could find out where Naruto put those two powerful eyes, maybe he just destroyed them. They will have to wait until they wake up. For now, all they could do was leave this cursed place and go home to their loved ones. The war was finally over. The threat of Sasuke Uchiha, the two of them were gone. The Alliance Shinobi forces came out on top, as people started to cry and cheered all around. It was finally over, some of them dropping their knees, crying in happiness. They looked on the man that was responsible for all of this, the one that saved them, as all of them were smiling, as Natsuki held on tight to Naruto in her arms. Time skip, 6 years later, and that is how Daddy managed to win against that man with powerful eyes and put an end to the Shinobi War. Naruto finished his tale. That's awesome, Dad! Please tell me another story from your adventures with Mommy, a young girl said on Naruto's lap. Naruto chuckled. It was really difficult for him to say no to this. But I'm sorry, Kushina, he said. But it's getting late, and your mom doesn't like when you stay up late. As Naruto picked her up and laid her down in bed. Kushina was born a year after the war ended. Kushina, that name. Naruto's mother was a link between him and Natsuki, so they find it only right to name her after her. As Naruto married Natsuki before she gave birth to their unborn child, the ceremony was recited by Tobi himself, as it took place on top of the Hokage monument. Guests and friends of all over the elemental nations came to attend the wedding. After all, Naruto was the famousest man in the world right now, as the 5 Kages were there as well, and Gaara brought Kurosaki as his date. Everyone in Konoha was happy for him. There was one person that was absent in the wedding though. Well, she was in the same class as him, Sakura. She was executed 3 months after the war ended, as it claims it was too great, betraying her village, going towards the enemy side and even attacking her fellow shinobis. Yes, they couldn't go against it. She was executed. Sasuke and other accomplished that followed him without the use of the brainwashing technique were also sentenced to their death. Kabuto was captured during the siege, while Jugo and Kimimaru were found half dead in the ruins of the hidden rain after the massive almighty push. Tsunade was sad by Sakura's death, even though after what she did, she was the one that trained her after all. So she took a vacation and named her to her temporary replacement. It's a good training for him after all. But she came back after some time to help with Natsuki's pregnancy. Naruto heard the door open as he made his way downstairs to check it out. As he made his way, arriving, he saw Natsuki and Konan and Karin arrive. Natsuki went to visit Manotabe at Kumo. Hello there, you three, Naruto said. How was the trip? It was great. All our friends from there send you their regards, said Konan. That damn musician Killer Bee was still annoying as hell, said Karin. Everyone's doing fine, especially Manotabe. I think she's doing crazy things whenever they switch position for the body, making poor Yujito crazy, said Natsuki. So, where is she? Asked Natsuki. I just put her to bed after telling a story, but she was far from tired. And if she's anything like me or you, I bet she's still up. The 3 women went upstairs to check on little Kushina. Telling that story made Naruto remember about the final moments with him and Sasuke. Flashback, final moments of the fight. As him and Sasuke reached their limits in holding up their respective jutsu, they summoned every strength that they had. Looking around, each of them saw something that decided the outcome of that fight. Sasuke gazed at the dead form of Itachi the sole reason why he became strong in his own timeline. But to find out that everything was a lie in the end, Naruto had no way to know when his jutsu would fail. He was left with a choice. He could dispel this now and fight another day, or he could just go for the best. He looked around and saw all of his friends at the walls of the city. As he also spotted Natsuki, he had to finish this now. As the both of them dashed forward with their last remaining strength, a wind blade erupted on Naruto's hand as he drove it forward at Sasuke, ignited Shidori right in his palm. As this split second, Naruto was just that faster, turning his body so the hit wouldn't be critical, as he jammed the wind blade straight into Sasuke's heart, as Sasuke drove the Chidori right into his chest, right above his heart. As the rain started to fall down on them, Naruto jutsu ended. Sasuke looked down his chest, but Naruto wasted no time as he reached out his other arm and grabbed, ripping out Sasuke's eyes. Sasuke coughed up blood leaking from the wound in his chest. As he collapsed down, Naruto collapsed as well, as Naruto threw the eyes up in the air as the dragon incinerated them. It was his time as the dragon pulled back to the summoning world. Both warriors fell to the ground as everything went dark, but Sasuke got the critical hit and died. End of flashback. Naruto decided to go to bed as well. Tomorrow would be a long day. Tomorrow, he would be chosen to replace Tsunade's 6th Hokage of Konoha. The last 6 years has been peaceful, with the Alliance meeting taking place twice a year. People are really starting to understand each other, as Naruto wished that Jiraiya was here could see that peace was finally achieved. But guys, this is where I'm going to be ending this episode. Yeah, the final ending. I do hope that you guys enjoy, and as usual, you know not to be sad because new what ifs are coming up soon for you guys to just enjoy. So sit back, grab a soda, a popcorn, and relax, because new what ifs are coming up very soon for you guys to enjoy. Well, I'm off now. Peace.